Action.
Please welcome Mr. Wemette.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Hello, folks. Here we are. Labor Day weekend, or Labor Day Monday. It is Monday, the 4th of September, 2023. And Joe hasn't showed up. I just thought I'd go live on time. Anyway, I want to say hi to you folks. Scott H. Beautiful weather. You're all saying hi to each other. That's great. Tim, Frank Ferrero. Did I miss anybody? Tony Johnson, how you doing? Jim Magnifici. How you guys doing? Dave M, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Gabby Rodriguez, how you doing, buddy? Hope it's nice by you. It's gotten cooler here. It's only 91 today with a high UV rating. Well, until Joe shows up, if he shows up, I didn't call him. But thank you, Cicero. Semper Fi to you. Trail Dust 64. How you doing, buddy? Yes, Jim Magnifici, you're right. The Usual Suspects showing up. It's like that movie, The Usual Suspects lineup. Well, what should we do? Should I give Joe a call and say what happened to you? Or you're watching in a hotel. That's great. We got about the same weather. Elmwood Park's 90 degrees. I'm 91 right now. Gabby. So what do we want to do? Have a Q&A or should I call Joe? Give him a phone call. I hope everybody's hearing me okay. This is my new computer. So things are a little bit different. It's only 88 in Georgia. That's nice up there. That's good. Scott. Calling Joe now. See what happens. It went right to his answering service. Okay. I'm not used to this, folks. Okay. Joe, sending him a text. I don't text too well, folks. I need a comma. Where are you? Okay, I sent him a text and we'll see if he responds. If he doesn't, we'll just have a Q&A. Okay, folks? Yeah, Joan. That's a new expression. I never heard that one before. But it's a great description. Very graphic. Trail.C 64. Give me Joe's number and I'll try and sell him a car warranty. Okay. I never heard the brass part either. Okay. Roy Munson. How you doing, Roy? Me this. When was the first time you got in trouble with the police before you're becoming a CI? Before becoming a CI? The first time, not many. There's no records of it anywhere, but it was when I was a kid, a youth, and I didn't accidentally. I was goofing around, didn't know what I was doing, and right behind me there was Myers Cement Company, and all of us kids used to play out there. There were construction forums and all different kinds of things. And there was a fire. So I got in trouble for that. That was the first time. After that, I was about maybe 12 years old then, something like that. And after that, I got a DUI when I was just 21. And that's the only contact I had with police at an early age. Larry C., happy Labor Day to you, buddy. Roy Munson, the first time I got arrested was at 14 for selling porn at my local school. Teachers and everything buying off of me. You should have seen my dad's face. Yeah, mixture of pride and shame. I don't doubt it, guy. Happy Labor Day weekend, Mobster Chronicles. 91 degrees in Detroit, metro area. Well, guess what? You're lounging by the pool, so you can't see. So my iPhone. So I was spelling what I have to type correctly. Semper Fi, buddy. Semper Fi to you. And it's not much different where I'm at. It's like 91. That's about it. Mr. Hoffmanfield. Let me see if I can. You're busy with the dear departed. Okay. Roy Munson. It's a balmy 50 degrees Fahrenheit in Ireland. That's right. That's really great. You're most welcome, Roy. Thanks for the live. You got it, man. No, this Meyer Cement Company, Michael Graham, was out in Wheeling, Illinois. It was different one. And the what's called that all burned up was the forms that burned up were Mr. Kiefer. He owned the Kiefer Construction. But you got to remember that was way, way back in, oh, wow. I would say 1958, 1959. That was a long time ago. Chicago Joe, Red, did your mom know you were a CI at the time? Or did she find out later? Her feelings. She didn't find out till I wrote the book. And I gave her the first one off the press. And she was really shocked. The only thing she said to me was, no wonder I didn't see you. No wonder all these years. I didn't know what you were doing or where you were going. And she wondered where I was because I disappeared a lot of times. Hey, Red, hope all is well. Is it possible that Tony Spilaccio called Chicago for a meeting instead of Chicago calling him? It is possible, Joshua. Not only that, the more I think about it, I think Michael, they wanted Michael. They used him as bait by saying he had to come into Chicago. And Tony went with him just to make sure everything was okay, which it wasn't. That's my answer. Mr. Hoffman, the mortuary college I attended was in Wheeling, Worsham College, Lake Cook Road. Yes, Lake Cook Road. Didn't that become Lake Cook Road? Didn't that become Buffalo Grove? Trail Dusty 64. I miss Adam's goofy humor. Yeah, his sense of humor. Yes, sir. I miss it too. Adam's not ready. Steve H. Or Steve S. Excuse me. How well has your book sold? Extremely well. Are you happy with the numbers it sold? Yes, I am. I really am. I'm very happy with it, Steve. Yes, that's like County Line Road. Lake Cook Road is County Line Road. I think so. On the north side is Buffalo Grove, and the south side is Wheeling. Isn't that County Line Road? Lake Cook Road? Isn't it also called County Line Road? It wasn't, there was no, Buffalo Grove hadn't extended that far when I lived out there. Buffalo Grove was a small burg. I think there were a few houses, farmhouses, and there was St. Mary's, and the parish, first church I really went to, Catholic church. My dad was Catholic and my mother was Lutheran. So my dad took me to Mass at 6 a.m. And my father, after I got back home, I went to Lutheran Mass and had nothing but guilt. Buffalo Grove is now wealthy and mostly Jewish. Well, it's different than it was. It was a very poor parish, and most of the people lived out there were farm people. The Stavros family owned most of that property there. Like, I don't know, 12,000 acres. It was crazy. They were farm folk. They also had Stavros farm implements on Milwaukee Avenue in Wheeling, right in town. I was an acolyte too, Scott H. I was an acolyte at the Lutheran Church, and I was a altar boy at the Catholic Church. So had a lot of guilt because in those days it was called, if you go into a Protestant or non-Catholic church, it's a mortal sin. And they preached that you're going to hell for sure. So, or they did. Now it's different. Everything's different. Michael Graham. Red, did Alpha guys fear you because they were afraid they might get Frank Schweiss mad if anybody messed with me? Yeah, they did. They really did. He'd go and see him and talk to him if anybody bothered me in any way whatsoever. He'd go and see him, talk to him, and I'd never hear anything about it again. So, but that's what he was there for. When he left, when Joey went to prison on Pendorf, we had a meeting, and I was at the meeting, and he told all the guys different things they were going to do. And when it came to me, he looked at Frank, and he said, Frank, he said, take care of this kid while I'm gone. Give him anything he wants. So that's what it was. Thank you, Joseph. Everybody hit the like button, and that's an order. Joseph, you're used to giving orders, huh? It's one heck of a day. My dog's whining. It seems that in our comments here, you had 2 strikes against your Trail Dusty, huh? You were Lutheran and a Republican. Well, whatever. Red, do you recall the name Tony? No, I didn't. He owned some racehorses with your uncle. He was a funeral director. Buried him out, figure in Montclair. Montclair Funeral Home, I knew where that was. Salerno's, I knew where that was too. Michael Hacker, hello to you, buddy. Joseph, we're giving Florida a run on their money today, Red. It's 92 and awfully humid. Well, it's humid here all the time. Public announcement from Jim Jager. It is 4:20 p.m. Michael Graham. It reminds me of the Frank Schweitz story where he said you needed to pay a kickback to the outfit for the hot dog stand. Frank never told me that. Jeeps did. He didn't really tell me that. He said, you're lucky. We should be charging for that too. And Philomato told me the same thing. I just told Frank about it. That happened. Julie M., how you doing? Darling? Don't be sorry you're late. You're here. God bless you. Red, do you think my affiliation with the outfit, Dave M. Says, Red, do you think your affiliation with the outfit helped or hurt your business? I don't think either. I mean, I was on my own. Nobody really got involved in it. I never asked them for help. They'd always come to me and ask me for help. Can you help me with this cop that I know? Or do you know this cop? Can you help me out with this? Can you help me out with that? I know Louis Eberly came to me. He had some gamblers that were getting cracked down on by Sergeant Rizzo. And he asked me if I could approach him. And I said, yeah, I know the guy. I can approach him. But it was that way. Jim Jagger, how's Duchess? She's fine. She's just, where is she? She was just here a minute ago. She's making a lot of noise right now. I don't know how this new mic or the new computer setup is working with the mic, and I hope you're getting good sound. I really do. I expected Joe to show up, but I even called him, as some of you viewers know, and I even gave him a text. Good question, Joe, Chicago Joe. Red, did the police mess with your business, or did I have to donate to their ways? No. As a matter of fact, I took regular pinches, for obscenity. I didn't personally, but my clerks did. And when that pinch would take place, they'd call me ahead of time and say, which shift do you want? Which person do you want to get arrested? That sort of thing. They're very good to me. Very courteous. I had a lot of connections with the police department too. Actually, I used to go hang out in some of their joints. How you doing, Philip Wright? Walter John Burgess III. Thanks for sharing as much as you have, man. Faces of Forgotten recommended you a while back, and I love these stories. Well, thank you, sir. Walter. You're at 90, Joseph. You're at 95th and Keene. Yeah, that was unincorporated when I was out there. Michael Hacker, Red, if you don't mind me asking, how much a month did you pay at the porn shop? In rent or street tax? My rent was, I signed a really crazy lease because I built the store. But my rent was like $150 a month, $75 a month, something like that. And my street tax was $1,100 a month. Thank you, Michael Graham. Everything seems to be working fine. Am I talking too loud or too soft? Whatever. Please tell me. Hey, Red, do you ever have hot dogs on Wally's? No, I did not. I didn't go any place for hot dogs. You ate at Buena Italian Beef for the first time near Schaumburg last week, and it was rated online. It was rated 10 in the Chicagoland area. Well, Schaumburg's got some good places to eat then. Lord knows I love Italian beef. Michael Graham. Everyone knows any business, including a porn shop, would not exist in a location without the alderman being aware of it. My alderman at the time, he really didn't control my ward. My committeeman was George Dunn. And George and I had been friends way before I opened it up. Frank Bruno was his bodyguard and his secretary. And Frank Bruno kind of took care of me. I was well liked in the city. Al's Italian beef is your favorite, huh, Steve? Al's beef is good. Ever hear of Thorn Trucking? No, I haven't. I hadn't then, and I haven't now. My memory would definitely bring it in. Michael Hacker. So, what wasn't there a bar on Keene? There was a lot of bars on Keene, but the one at the on the corner there, 95th and Keene, was called the Keene Club at the time. But we're talking way, way back. Dave M. Hey, Red, when the boys went up at the spot, did they listen to Sinatra? I never heard it. I never did. Never did at all. Dave, I never heard Sinatra. Not there. It was a kind of an outdoor atmosphere. Underneath the canopy was a bar, and real nice, or very ornate. Just the way it was. That's all. Joshua. Hey, Red, did you ever hang out in New York with the guys? Or did I stay in Chicago? Go out to Vegas and hang with Tony? I never hung with Tony out in Vegas. We just had that agreement. And as far as New York guys, I never saw any that came into Chicago, ever. Some guys came in from Philadelphia one time, and I heard about it, and I went over to see them, and what happened? There was an argument with baseball bats, and Philadelphia guys went home. There's some hillbilly bars at the north end of Keene by Archer Woods Cemetery. Wouldn't doubt it. Larry C., you get your outfit fix. 5 minutes. 5 minutes from Portello's on East Dempster. Scott H. Hey, Red, what did the outfit think about hippies in the 70s? They didn't like them. They didn't like them at all. There was a lot of things said about long hair back then. Christopher, how you doing? Your dad used to talk about Lake Street? Wow, Medina Temple. Yeah, I used to go there. That was a Masonic. I used to go there all the time. Uh, when the circus was in town, it was at Medina Temple. Now it's going to be a casino. The old theaters and everything, they turned into something else. And I'm getting a flickering. Guess who finally came in to join us? Joe Cellozzi.
Of course, I got a good enough excuse, so you'll love to hear this. I apologize for the, sometimes when you're in tense discussions, and I'm trying to be well, to be honest with you, we all got girlfriends, boyfriends, Red. You wouldn't know that. You're single, okay? I'm trying to make it. I've been trying to keep this relationship with this 32-year-old. Okay, you know the story with her, and it's been a cat and mouse game for 6 years. Okay, true story. And I helped her out. She's got emotional problems, and she has a good person, but childhood and all that. And she's stressed out, and I didn't even see the clock. And I look, oh no.
Every
And
32-year-old woman these days has problems, emotional problems.
well,
I don't
that's
know
true.
one that doesn't.
My question to you is, how come I can't do well with older women? I tried. I mean, 55, 60, they don't like me. I'm serious. Why do you think? What's your genuine opinion?
My genuine opinion is that they have their own lives, they have their own families, whatever. They
No,
have
the
their
ones that
own
are looking for a
children,
boyfriend.
grandchildren.
No,
They
the
may be
ones that are
divorced.
single. The ones that are single, they're looking for a guy.
They may be
I-
divorced, but they they think different than you do, Joe. There's
yeah,
nothing in
well,
common. You got to have something in common to have a relationship.
a lot of them are from the area, so they already know my life story in a way. They do. Once I give my last name, it helps or doesn't help. Like, what are you doing, single? Or are you married? It just doesn't. They don't believe
Scott
me.
answered
Hey,
his
Scott.
eye.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I want to apologize to our listeners. Your listeners aren't mine. It's a family, and I really feel bad. I almost feel so bad that I want to, But anyways, I want to talk. I want to. If you got what's been on my mind, we talked about
Brian
you and I.
says you should go older.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I did that once when I was 42. I could say this. There was a woman that worked for the city of Chicago. She was
Scott
73.
is telling you the real truth right now.
Yeah, they have emotional. That's true. He's right. Scott, you're right.
That's what I believe.
Wait, you're exactly right. But getting back to the old one, there was a woman that worked for the city of Chicago. She was 75 years old. And I was going there bringing her stuff from the dealership. I never thought anything about it. She was married. She says, I'm going to come and see you do Elvis. She came one night, see me do Elvis, her friends. Come back, let's have a drink by my house with all her friends. I get back to her house, and guess what? She was by herself. And she made a move on me. She was 75.
Excuse me, Joe. That guy didn't like me at Bazaar because it was a common colloquialism that I used to use called chief. I'd say, okay, chief. That meant I was just being like, okay, buddy. And I mentioned it to him, and he said, don't call me chief. And that's
Caligula.
And
Caligula was that Roman guy, the degenerate Caligula. You said Caligulaism?
no, colloquialism.
Oh, cool.
Saying.
Okay. Because the other guy that sounded like that Roman general, that ruler that was in the Bible, he was degenerate. He was. He was. There was a movie on it with Peter O'Toole did it in the '70s, and Playboy gave the models in the movie. It was called Caligula. Peter O'Toole played it. It was almost a porn kind of, and talked about how degenerate he was. If you got married, you had to get permission from him, and he would have sex with the guy and your girl before he'd approve it. He was sick. In the Bible, this is pre-Christ. This is Caligula. If you look up there was a movie on him, and he was degenerate. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was sick. He was. They killed him
in America now.
They killed him. They killed him. But as I want to talk about, we talked about.
That's the word, Brian Glade. You spelled it, but I couldn't even say it. And Chicago Joe says,
Cooklyism.
I can't say it.
Okay, okay. There, Caligula. There it is. Caligula. That's right. He's right. And if you read about him, I got it from I saw the movie back in the 70s. I was excited about it because it was like, yeah, you should know that tape was sold to places like yours back in the day. That movie. Yeah, it never got the mainstream.
It wasn't
No,
so.
but it never got mainstream. It was like almost like a porno in a way because they showed sex in it. So, hey, just got back. Wait to see Joe.
He's going to Sicily next month to check out the house he bought. He bought a house
Well,
in Sicily.
We got to take him up on it.
You told us, one of the broadcasts, you told us, Roy. We're always
Yeah, we
welcome
got
to Sicily. Thank you.
Yeah, that was very nice of him. He's like, man, you got these 10 or 15 people. They're your blood and butter. That's bread and butter. Those people.
There's more than 10 or 15. There's like close to 60.
That's
they
right.
all show up at the same time.
Hey, Bob Guccione, that's right. That was from Penthouse or Penthouse. He was rated X. That's right. And Peter O'Toole started it. Peter O'Toole.
I never saw it. I never saw it.
Scott, thank you, Scott. That was great. It was and they actually showed sex.
Tim Hunt says, I am 60. It's better to date women in their 40s or mid 40s. My girlfriend was so beautiful. Now she's 60. Looks like a tornado hit her.
Oh my God. I don't know if I should laugh.
You better have love because the beauty fades.
Is there such thing as love? That's what we talked about. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I could love.
So many times I don't know. Man, I love life.
Well, yeah, you're happy. You're like you don't need much. Look at you. You got a beautiful place there. You're calm. You know, if I got things not happening in my life or a little turmoil or stressed out, I'm not normal. I'm actually, I don't feel good. Speaking of stressed out, we talked about now. I'm going to talk about the movie. You know, Legitimate Wise Guy that's coming out after this assassination. I got the cast. Okay, the new cast. I saw it, and you'll be all seeing it shortly. Andy Garcia is playing my dad, not Harvey Keitel. Because remember, back in the 80s, my dad was 53, 54 years old. Harvey Keitel was just too old, getting too old looking, and the new producers or who's ever developing it, because of pre-production, they said probably somebody younger. Made sense. But listen to this. Guess who's playing me? Now you know who's playing me. I'm going to give you guys a guess. He was on HBO series Sopranos. And which guy do you think is playing me? He was in all 9 years of Sopranos. He's one of the famous guys. Let's see if anybody guesses who's playing me. I saw Joey. I saw the guy's name. He probably is the third most popular guy on the show for those 9 years. Who do you think it is? Let's see if somebody guesses. Sopranos, that was on HBO. The guy I don't want to tell you the guy's name, what character he played, then you would know. But he's playing me. I was shocked when I saw it, and it's not on the internet yet, but it will be. Because I saw where he's the new cast. And that's where I saw Andy Garcia too, playing my dad. So if anybody can guess.
Gabby's guessing Vince.
Nope, not that's a good guess. Not fancy, but let me give you a little hint. He was a relative of Tony Soprano.
Eddie Asner.
No, he was a relative of Tony Soprano. Bobby, that's it. That's it. You got it.
There you go, Ultra Cowboy.
Ultra Cowboy, you got it. Michael Imperoli. Yeah, Michael Imperoli's name. I forgot if I said it right. Imperoli is playing me. So that's it. That's it. Roy, that's it. And I guess they contacted him. That's his nephew. That was Tony's nephew.
Julie M's right up with us.
Julie, you're right. You're spot on today, which you always are, but you're on. So he's playing me. So look at that coming out over the next 2-3 months. They got time because they're starting the assassination, and you'll see him. He already said he's going to do it, and they're working out the particulars. But how about that though? Playing me, which is good and bad, as you and I talked about. For him to play my part, you're pretty smart, Red, and so is your listeners. If he's playing my part, there's got to be a good part. It's probably
I've
a lot
never
of
seen the guy. I've never
no,
seen
but
the guy.
he's a great actor. But to take my part, it's got to be a big part. Can't be a couple scenes. That's true. So it's probably a lot.
Here's a
And
reaction for you. You want a reaction? You got one.
Yep, yeah, he's playing me. Yep, he's playing me. So
And he's all the way over in Ireland.
yeah, and let me tell you what. If that happens, okay. Now some of you people you're gonna know this for sure.
Where are
If
they
that
filming?
happens, I'm gonna give him come on the show. He's playing me.
Where are they filming?
That one I don't know. In Chicago, some of them, and in Vegas.
Oh,
Yes, yeah. But guess what? I think at that point, my brother would allow him to. He's playing me, right? And you know that guy. He's gonna want to meet me to see what kind of person I am. So, when I get him alone for a day or two, when he's talking to me, hey, can you come on my show podcast? He'll do it for sure. Why wouldn't he do it? That's being a gentleman. I'm playing the guy.
Surprise live. I mean,
Yeah.
if it's a day that we're not scheduled for a show, we go for a surprise live.
There you go. And he's playing me, so that's even more of a reason, right? I mean, just let's be honest, But I'm just waiting to get the days. But isn't that exciting? And Andy Garcia. Now, Andy Garcia's older. He hasn't done much.
Imperelli's investing in your character. You can be sure he's going to do due diligence.
Yeah, that's it. That's right. He's gonna meet me. That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, Harvey Keitel told my brother that I have to come meet your dad. He did, and I think my brother was nervous about that because my dad don't want to be his name, so you know what I mean. Because you start putting my dad in here, like okay, now he gets somebody tied up with the mob, that kind of stuff. That's how you get the stories. Doing a movie on if Nick Cellozzi put his son in Vegas and Tony's helping him. Why would Tony do that if he wasn't? There's always that's where the conspiracy theories come out. Yeah, that's it. So I'll know. I will know more when you guys when it gets onto the internet. Also, too, is I talked to Michael Magnifici 3 days ago, because you all know I was friends with him since '84, and first time we talked, we got more than a minute, and I said I got a podcast show because I know all about it. I know all about your show. I said, would you come on? It's not gonna be like Joe Fosco with American. He said, well, what is it? I said, listen, you want to come on for 5 minutes, half hour? We could Zoom you in. You come sit with me. And he said, well, all right. Well, what are we gonna talk about? What do you think we're gonna talk about? How to make dessert? We're talking about your days of driving for Jack, and not gonna talk about.
Jackie
we'll talk about.
You're talking about Jackie Cerrone.
Yeah, Jack Cerrone.
You always say the first names like.
You're right. Yeah.
Don't know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's funny that he asked me that. I did know of him from the South Side, from Chicago. I was from Tinley Park, Palos Park. That guy there, that was from the early '80s. He got busted in years because a guy owed him money.
Did you know
Yeah.
Campus?
Yeah, I did know of him. Yeah, I did meet him afterwards. Remember, I had a bar.
Funny story about Campus. I never liked the guy. Never liked the guy. The first
Red.
time I heard about him was a friend of mine. Was Jay Woolley. He used to be IRS CID, and he became a DEA agent.
Yeah.
At that time, DEA was in the Treasury Department. They weren't with the FBI yet. So Jay calls me up and he says, you want to go to the sentencing hearing for Campus? And I said, what's this all about? And he said, the guy put a hit on me. We got it on wire. He tried to murder me. He told some other people to go kill me. One was a cop. So
Yeah.
I went to see him in court, and man, the judge really socked it to him. I mean, really bad. So
You know what happened? The same thing which you said.
But
Yeah,
the funny thing about it was my buddy, the DEA agent, leaned over and whispered something in his ear. And this guy went absolutely spastic. I mean, he went berserk right in the courtroom on the way out. And he threatened the agent too. When I was there, he threatened the agent from the judge.
Yeah.
And I said, what'd you tell him? And he said, I told him, when you get to prison, you're going to be the belle of the ball.
Yeah.
And you know what happened? He goes into prison and he comes out and he writes his book and everything else. The guy's bullshit. He's 100% bullshit. He said, "Oh, I was in confinement because I got in trouble." He wasn't in confinement because he got in trouble. He's scared to death in there. But the Spartans, the Greek in him.
Yeah, well, it's funny you said that because it's on the same story. How it blew up is a kid owed him money, and I think the kid killed himself.
He did. It was a cop's
Yeah.
kid.
That's right.
That came up in court.
You're 100% right. And I had a place in Palos Park, so you know, right up there where he was from, in that area, south. I had my bar, Cellozzi's Fifth Quarter. Now, this was before me, but not much before me when it came out. All this shit going on. So I knew all his people. He used to come to my bar, and they were friends of him. And I heard all this, you know, like you said, a lot of stuff was blown up. You know, who knows what the truth is, really. He made it like a mobster, a Greek mobster.
Yeah, well, he thought he was a tough guy because he knew a little bit of karate, and he'd go around and collect money, and then he started dealing. Got worse. And
What's
worse.
the best way to contact you on this? Check out a guy called Danny Green in America. He was my cousin. Danny Green.
Cousin Roy? He was in, Danny Green was in Cleveland, Ohio.
Danny Green. Was that his real name?
Pride, Celtic Pride. He was involved in a lot of car bombings, many car bombings, including him. He died that way. He actually died.
Danny boy, the pipe is calling you.
Thanks for calling. They called all right.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, anyways, we got Mike coming up. We talked about it. And also we talked about Red and I think you guys, we'll get you guys' opinions of this. We're going to put together.
He's asking, Joe.
What?
So what
was
the answer? The answer
so what
is
was,
he's coming on. Joe
he's coming on. He's coming on. We just have to decide. I have to meet him first and decide when, not when he is, like what's his, what are we, is it 5 minutes, 10 minutes? I think personally, for the first one, he should be on the whole hour with me. You know, when I come on, let him right next to me. So I'll pick him up at his house, bring him by me, sit him down, and we can have some laughs and talk about, you know, I want to tell you, your listeners, I don't know if I told you this, one story, and this is when Mike was living with Jack 2 years before he went away. He was his driver. He was driver about 4 years. And he was, Jack Cerrone, the old man, and he was sleeping at his house. He had a cot next to his bed. He just wanted, he had to do everything, cut his fruit. He said they're coming from downtown and on the Eisenhower, and they're supposed to get off at Des Plaines Road or First Avenue to go to his house, whatever. And he goes, take this road right here. And Mike goes, Jack, this is fast. Let me take this. And he went to turn. Jack grabbed him by the back of his head, those big gorilla hands. And he says he took his hair and pounded on the steering wheel like this, forward, like he's driving, like this. He goes, you listen to me. When I give an order, you do exactly what I tell you. Jack, please, okay. Yeah. He said, I'd never seen that about him. He was drunk, but he took his left hand and he grabbed me and I didn't realize he's gonna go forward. I thought he was just pulling my hair dry, and he pushed it forward. I hit my head on the steering wheel. It was crazy. And he kept going. Yeah, Jackie the Lackey. That's it. But and stuff like that, you know, and Mike loved them because they golfed with Ricardo and everything. But Mike would hear a lot of stuff. He would be out of the room because and stuff. But he sort of knew we'd drive downtown with lawyers and everything. 4 years with him, and everybody knows who his father was. His father was Jack's guy. When his father died, Jack was in the joint.
You're talking about Lee.
And Lee Magnifici, right? And Lee did all the work. He did a lot of work. But I mean, heavy work, yeah. I'm not saying that this is it, but Mike said his dad would come home at times to stay in his pajamas for 4 or 5 days and not leave the house. So he's thinking maybe, you know, those are the days. And before he died, he put his hand out to his son, and he goes like this. He's counting. Each finger represents somebody. I'm going to have to talk to God about that. That's what he said to him. He says, I gotta make peace with God. And he showed his hand like this. So, I mean, that was at the end of his life.
Do you think God forgives murderers?
You know, well, here's what Sammy the Bull says. He says, when the general.
What do you say?
Okay. I say, okay. If I'm in an organization and I get set out to kill somebody, okay, 4 or 5 people, the enemy, they're the enemy. I kill them. Am I responsible or the guy that sent me out? If a soldier is sent out to war to kill those 10 people.
How about the fact that you're involved in that organization? Are you responsible for that?
Isn't murder murder though? Isn't murder murder?
Yes.
If I kill a guy across in a war, I don't even know him. That's not my beef, and I'm ordered to kill these enemies for whatever reason. The president decides, whatever reason. I took people's lives. Not to say that their lives wouldn't be taken already. Okay, my thing is, yeah, I think if you forgive, I think if you pray enough, and now I'm a Catholic, but I'm not. I think if we pray and ask for forgiveness, but there's murders that torture people. There's murders that if like they don't murder them, they make them suffer. I don't believe in that.
Oh, yeah.
They're serial killers. Those kind of people, there's a hell for them. I had a friend of mine who was a cop. He told me once, he goes, Joe, there's evil. There's evil, and then there's people make bad decisions. There's people that kill people out of rage, out of whatever reason, right or wrong, but they kill somebody. And then there's the sick people.
I've had people tell me, Joe, it's no different than you going to Vietnam.
That's what I said. That's right.
People over there. Well, it is different. It's
Well,
a lot different.
and I've been told, killers told me, it doesn't take a strong guy to kill somebody. A hitman to come up behind somebody, shoot him. That's not a strong guy. That's not a tough guy.
What about your best friend sitting in the seat next to you?
That's right. It doesn't take much to do that. And why, Red? And we talked about this before.
How about
Why
Frank
is it?
Schweiss when he killed his girlfriend, 18 years old, Eugenia Pappas? He was in his 30s.
Yeah, that's
One
it.
shot in the center of his chest and her chest in the car and dumped her in the river.
So he enjoyed it. He wasn't a soldier. He wasn't a soldier. He was just, he had no.
He specialized in murders.
Yeah. Well, what did they do before? Guys that were murderers that loved killing, the mob took them out eventually. They didn't want that. You knew that. I mean, if they got crazy with it, I think.
Here's one for you. Brian Glade. Joe, did you know John Gacy? No.
Okay. No, but let me tell you a story about that. Back in the 80s, when John Gacy got in trouble, my brother Nick was going to do a movie on it. It's a true story. And he talked to the detective that did the thing about how he found out with the pharmacy that one guy was missing, picked up his prescription. There you go. Now, my brother went back to the house. It was knocked down, right? It's a park. But there's a fence, he told me, behind the park, where his house was at, and it says, go back to hell, 666. Somebody spray painted that on the fence where the park is at. Go back to hell.
I don't blame him. But
so,
now, here's a good case for you. Do you think he's going to be redeemed?
No, he's hell. He's hell. No, he's going to go to hell. What he did to these 30-something people, my brother talked to the detective. The movie did come out about him. It did eventually come out. Somebody did it. I don't know whose perspective it was. I think it was from the two cops. But my brother was involved getting information back, right? Not maybe, if I had to guess, maybe 8 years after. 8 years after he got killed. Or after, not killed, after they found it. I think it was 78, 79 when they found the body, something like that. Maybe. But he said he was evil. He was nuts.
It was
and
on
obviously
the news every day. I watched it on the news every day.
He said when he smoked marijuana and drank, he became an animal. That's what he told his buddy. The day before he he knew they were after him. He knew they were watching him. Surveillance.
What about the old adage? God, you made me the way I am.
Well, question: are we born bad or good? When we're born, are we born evil?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. Okay, I personally feel, there's a lot of good people that make bad decisions. There's a lot of good killers. Okay, I would say good killers that technically speaking, that I knew what they did, but they don't talk about it. Like you knew the German. You knew what he did. Now, was he a good guy if you talked to him? Was a nice guy? Have a drink with?
He wasn't a good guy. He wasn't nice. He wasn't happy. I mean, he was just mean.
Miserable guy?
Oh, yeah. Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay, so my question is, there's killers that kill for a reason, ordered, and there's killers that don't have. But here's my feelings. After the first two murders, it's easy. They can whack anybody. I think when you get over that first stage of the murder, I think it becomes easier for them guys.
I don't consider it murder. It's not murder. When you got people shooting at you, it's called self-defense.
Defending life. Yeah, he's right.
When you have, the order is don't fire unless get fired upon.
Now, could you kill somebody, Red, that, let's say you had a child and they hurt your child, killed him, and you had a chance to retaliate? Would you go get the guy? I would. Let's say to somebody, a neighbor, that did something terrible to your child or whatever and hurt him, and you had a chance to get even with him. Would you do it?
I don't know. It never happened to me. I don't know exactly what I would do because it didn't happen.
But I would.
Like my father said to me, you really don't know what's going to happen until it happens. You're not going to really know what you're going to do. I can make guesses and speculations, but I made special arrangements in my life to make sure my children were never in harm's way.
Well, you want to hear a story? Fast story. When I was 19 years old, I was dating this girl who broke up with her boyfriend, and we're at a health club by the Park District, and he started yelling at me. Because obviously, I was dating for about 6 months. I said, let's fight. So we go outside. I thought one-on-one, right? I figured I was a tough kid. Well, all 4 guys jumped me. His friends, they were working out and pounding on me. I mean, they're actually kicking me. I was in the ground. The maintenance guy comes out and throws himself on me, right? The next day, I get to work. I was working the service. My dad saw my face. It looked like it was terrible. So what happened? And I said, I want to fight fair, like he taught me. You know, you fight fair. And I got jumped by all his friends. Well, I left. From what I heard, he was unglued, the old man. So he says to me the next day, go back there and tell the guy you want to fight him again. Tell him to come outside. True story. So I go there, and they're working. They worked out. They're all worked at a certain time. Those guys worked out after work or whatever. And he goes, oh, you came back for some more? Because my girl danced next to it. There was a dance room and then the workout room at a Park District. I said, let's go fight. I walk outside, and I kept walking. 5 guys came out of a car with bats. Beat them all bad. I mean, bad.
Joe, I have to tell you, as a child, I learned, as a teenager, I learned there is no such thing as a fair fight. When you go into a fight, you go in to win. And it doesn't matter what tactics you use.
Well, right, yeah, but when you have 5 guys jump you, it's not fair.
Then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, right. I mean, I had 5 guys out there. He didn't fight me. I fucking had them. They all jumped on me, kicking me in the back of the head. I could have died. Wasn't for that maintenance guy, I would have been dead. He didn't see nothing, by the way. He didn't see anything. And you know what? When they called, they didn't even know. I just walked out, like went to my car, like it's nothing. I just heard fucking bones being broken. And you know what? And I stayed out there for about 6 months. They deserved everything they got. Because I could have died if it wasn't for that maintenance guy. So, I mean, that's not right. I mean, I want to fight fair. I'd like to see something like that happen to you. You wouldn't like it. You're trying to be fair. You're trying to be fair.
What do you got to be mean to me for? You'd like to see something like that happen to me?
No, you know what I mean. You know, listen. If anybody hurt you, I'd be the first one to defend you. I'd find out, and I go get them for you.
Ultra Cowboys, right? Your dad taught you, right?
Yeah.
There's no rules in a fight. That's what I didn't like about Vietnam. They had rules. Well, there should be no rules. When you're at war, you're at war.
Listen. The rule was this: in grade school, if you wanted to fight, you walked out of his grade school. There's a circle of people. You're in the middle. You fight till somebody gave up, and they would shake your hand. It was over. That's how you did it. So it was fair. That's how I was taught. You know, the right way to do it. Instead of jumping the guy behind him, no weapons. You fight one-on-one, and you shake hands when it's over.
Brian Glade, who smokes more cigarettes?
Yeah, he's right. Yeah. You know what? After meeting Red, I smoke 4 packs a day now. Yeah. Really? It's a joke. It's a joke, Red. Yeah. I'm having nightmares. No, just joking. But what also, too, is so that's to get back to the movie thing and everything. I just feel like, you know, it's going. And also, too, I wanted to mention, we're going to have Reaction Wednesday. Red and I are going to put together a 4-minute thing about Chicago, like certain things that happen, and we want to get your reaction. We'll all watch it together, like reacting to music, like whatever, and you guys can give suggestions. A little clip, we'll watch it, we'll get everybody's opinion on it. And we'll get stuff that's was at one time was big, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 10 years, whatever. Like a portion of something, you know. I'm trying to get
years in the night.
Hey, Red, I'm trying to get all my stuff from Channel 2, all the I wonder how I could get that. If I go back to 94 and go back to Channel 25, I bet you I tried to get it like on YouTube, it won't come up. The news. You can find old news. I want the one I was in, all my stuff I just want to see it, you know, how they mentioned my name, you know. Not that I want to relive it, you know. Today at 5, number dealership in Illinois son is indicted, you know, at 5. And then next, you know, it was all the, yeah, Oh no, I seen it. It's in the papers, but I want to see them talking about, and then it was interesting because it's, that's the only way I could handle it back then is to find it
Brian
amusing.
Glaze says he'll find it.
Yeah, would you please? It was. I know it's in Sun Times. I know that's the articles. I know all about that, and it's in Automotive News, and it talks about how I had to hide behind my chauffeur limousine when he threatened me about because we sent the forms in. I felt like my life was in danger. The FBI. It may sound like, oh, you sent these forms in, you're going to be in trouble with my people from New York. You did say that to me, and I said, well, we have to send them in. Sorry. Well, I'm going to buy a couple more cars. You better not send these in. I did. We did. So.
Roy Munson says, Joe, is there a site I can share with you and any Jew clipping or a feed? I think that means an email or something like that. I don't know what Jew clipping is.
Yeah, if you can find, I know all the newspaper articles. They're all in there. I've seen them all. There's all. I'm talking about the 2579. There was that 4, 5, 10 o'clock news, and they put a nice little dedication to me. It was interesting, and they came to my house looking for me.
Larry C wants to know what's that around your neck?
Oh, this is for when I go out sometimes at COVID. I just like this. and you know what I did? It's funny. Larry says this. I almost going to design these now. People have been wearing them and put a design on them, like part of like a tie, almost like. It's my new look. I don't know. Maybe I'm, remember when they came back with the socks, the fancy socks with all the designs on them? That was sort of weird. Remember that in the 80s? You could buy socks with all these different colors in them. Let's be honest, Red. When you were young, socks were black, white, or, there were 2 colors, right?
I only had black socks, or white socks, excuse me.
You know what? Look at that.
We didn't have black socks. Dress socks were black.
Jim
Magnifici says, I'd like to see a remake of Red's Chase.
But they'll know about Mike. They'll know.
In Lake Michigan. Well,
they'll know about Mike Magnifici.
Since they took the curve out now.
Yeah. They'll know about Mike Magnifici. They'll know about when he's coming on because I was on a podcast show 3 or 4 times with Mike and that other guy and Tony Portillo. Him and I were talking about all that until I had the fallout. But so Mike is. He's going to come on. You'll know a week before. And we're going to be doing some different things. And, I love you guys. You guys are the best. I wish I could find my Elvis.
Somebody cut your neck.
Yeah, right. I had an Elvis tape of me that I had filmed, that I had done professionally when I did Elvis. And I had it for about 5, 6 years. And I used to have to pay my wife $100 to watch it. I come home drunk at night. Let's put my Elvis tape on. She didn't want to watch it. So I make her watch it for $100, right? So this is true. After about 5 years, I'm looking for the tape. I go, where's that tape at? She goes, I threw it out. I go, threw my tape out? That was my, she goes, yeah, it's not worth it. I got rid of it. I go, wow. And we got divorced right after that, but I mean, not because of that. But if I would have had that, I could take a little clipping. All I got is the movie. You saw that's the only thing I got, that one little clip from the movie. I do Elvis. You saw it, right? I sing I'm the king of rock and roll. They come back to save your soul. So, but I wish I had that, and but maybe now with he would never give me a part. But if I asked him, it's too late for that. But I mean, what am I have a part? Sitting in a bar, that's my part. My back to the audience, he's they have enough extras. But yeah, so the Michael Imperioli, we got to watch for that, and Andy Garcia is going to be playing my dad. I thought that was great.
Larry C says, Red, maybe he was late since he was holding up a store.
No, I love that. Hey, Larry, that's good, Larry. I like that. I told Red. Hey, Larry, I told Red if we were traveling overseas, I'd be the one getting off to the side to go to my luggage. Him and I going through the gates, the what do they call them, security there? And they'd be like looking at me and him. They'd be like this, you over here, and Red would walk right through. I bet on it. And it's happened a lot when I traveled to Brazil. And yeah, I was always the one that, just they look at you. Not me, they go through my luggage or my handbag. Red would be no problem, zoop right through. I'd be the one probably 60% of the time. So I'm not, maybe I look like a racer.
We didn't get a chance to talk about the subject today that's on the thumbnail. But
okay, what is that? Yeah.
What is,
well, okay, well, can we take a Okay, real fast. That was Sam Giancana and obviously Frank Sinatra. And Frank, you said something, Red, real fast, that Frank denied knowing him. He did.
yeah.
Oh, okay, he did. Remember when he's in the interview for the.
That's on tape. It's actually on YouTube where his
Well, yeah,
at his hearing.
that's right. That's correct. That's
his
correct.
license hearing. Sinatra's license
That's
hearing.
you're
And he lied
exactly
about
right.
everything during that.
That's right. And that picture comes out, and you know the story. He after they had a fall.
All the people that he was photographed with, and then they asked him about Jimmy Fradiano.
That's right.
And he said that Fink. No, I would never associate with a Fink like him.
And they said that he after the fallout that Frank was not allowed in Chicago for a while. They had a fallout. Frank and Sam. So if Frank didn't play. That's what I heard. He was there. They had a little fallout. He didn't come to Chicago for a while. Frank did. I don't know how true that is. If you've ever heard that. Well, they asked Ricardo about Jimmy the Weasel. Remember? The guys asked him, Congress.
You're on the air.
What's that? Red? Maybe it was a little.
Nobody can hear you. You're in my ear.
Who, me? Yeah. Remember they asked Ricardo at the end of his life when they gave him immunity. They said that Jimmy the Weasel, Fradiano, wrote in his book about Big Tuna Ricardo. And they mentioned that Ricardo.
After the show, I'm live right now.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll call you back.
All right. Take care. Adios. Are you talking to me or somebody else?
The phone. I hit an answer.
But you're getting back with when they started writing books on the mob. Remember back in the 70s and early 80s, there was stuff coming out about them. The Godfather had to have permission from people, but Jimmy the Weasel. I mean, when they started having high people at positions turning on the mob and writing books on them, nobody knew about some kind of, they had that little cult, that little, what they call it, blessing or whatever it was to bring you in.
Asking, is it true that Giancana considered killing Frank Sinatra when Kennedy turned on the mob, but he reconsidered?
Well, here what happened was when Sinatra went to Giancana and asked him if he could help with the election with Kennedy, Kennedy's father went to Frank, and he was pretty smart. He went to Frank and said, "Listen, you ask your boys in Chicago. It's a favor to you, Frank, not me.
Right?
Don't give me that." But they knew.
Involved in that.
That's right. He made a point to say.
It sounds like your dad talking.
For sure. So what did that mean? But they knew. Okay, they knew when Bobby, that thing was all fucked up with the CIA, the FBI, and then using those guys for shit. And then what did I tell you? When Sam Giancana got the CIA to wiretap somebody, that told you how much clout he had.
Yeah.
When you get the CIA to wiretap somebody over abroad.
No, that house was wiretapped by 4 different people or agencies, plus the mob.
Yeah.
They all had wire. The FBI had a wiretap there. The CIA had a wiretap there. Everybody had a wiretap there. As a matter of fact, John Toohey showed me a picture of the house because somebody took pictures of it, and it was all landlines. They didn't have electronic bugs like they do now.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
All the wires that went, it was outrageous. And wires, it was only one guy from Pacific Bell that went in and wired the house.
Wow. Yeah. See, it just came to my mind. If the government is going to use a bad guy, which they do all the time back then, you go look at any kind of, they get the bad guy that's in that country and they make deals with him. It's common sense. So if they're going to use the bad guy and they're talking to him in Florida, New Orleans, and they're talking to them, well, I would think, knowing those guys, how they are, well, you're going to help me out. Can you get this guy to back off on us? Okay? Because that Fidel Castro was very important to get rid of him. Okay? And I think they did ask him. I think the CIA was asked, listen, we do this.
My mind, it happened.
That's why they had those inquiries all the time.
Well, that was testified to before the
commission.
Commission.
That's right. That's
one of
right.
the guys that testified to that fact was Johnny Roselli.
That's right.
Once, and he
got killed.
Well,
he got killed.
The second time.
He never made it back, right? And I say to you, if he got those guys to wiretap in a room where he thought his girl was cheating with the laughing guy, you know the story. Well, why couldn't he? Right? Why couldn't he? Then he obviously has to tell Bobby to back off on us. If he got that done, obviously, if they did a little shit like that, which is worse, and they got caught.
That was the icing on the cake. That's all.
That was icing on the cake. And now JFK, no. Well, I can tell you one thing. Because of that, he was dismantling the CIA. He was executive order. He was getting rid of it. Like you said, it was right. It was originally for what was the CIA originally for? Espionage, communism. What was it for? Red?
Central Intelligence Agency.
Okay.
They collected information. That's all they were
Small.
supposed to do.
That's correct. And then look at this now. 14 or 16 years later, back then, they're getting the mob to do work in because they're in Cuba. Now, that just tells you, all right? And those kind of positions, there's corruption on both sides. Their side, that's that job working in like secretly, trying to find out stuff. They knew what they were doing, going to these guys. They knew that was taboo, especially at that time, Red. It was all over that Bobby was going after the mob. The CIA knew that. And so did Hoover. Hoover knew that too. That two-faced. But they hated the Kennedys.
No.
And you find out politics now, what's going on, right? With everybody. So back then, we were brainwashed. Society was brainwashed. We were. We didn't know anything. There was no social media, no information. We believed anything they said.
Contact with somebody across the country every day.
That's right.
Go on here like I am.
That's right. And Oswald was begging to talk to somebody, and so was Ruby in jail. And when he walked out, that 2 minutes that he got walking from the jail, just 2 minutes, right? He got out to move him. And what did he say? I'm a patsy. I'm a patsy. In other words, I didn't do this by my, And and Ruby shot him. And then what did he say? He was begging the prison to talk to somebody. They said no. They said no. They would not let him.
He said, "Get me out of Dallas. Bring me to Washington.
That's right.
Bring me to a federal prison."
And that's it was funny you said that. That's a fact. It's a fact. He said that.
Oh yeah.
Now they didn't want that.
No.
Now what does that tell you? And I said this before. He killed Oswald because he didn't want JFK's wife. He was upset that she was hurt over the murder. Now is that the most disturbing thing you ever heard?
No.
He was upset that. Okay. And meanwhile, Marcellus.
The most ridiculous thing I ever heard.
You're right. And New Orleans.
Top 10.
That's right. And New Orleans, that girl that was in the she went to the police and said the president's going to get killed. Right? Remember? And they put her. Right. And they put her in the hospital. Remember the mental ward? Oh, you know what you're talking about.
A lot of people went into mental hospitals over that.
Right. No, they said, well, you can't say that, and put her in the hospital. She said, words on the street that the president's going to get it. She says it. Okay? A week before, and he was coming to Chicago. Oswald was in Chicago. Ruby was in Chicago before New Orleans. The only person that didn't like the whole deal was Traficante. He didn't really like that. He didn't want to get involved with that. He thought it was going to explode. Really.
Well, Joe, it's time to go. It's time to go, so.
All right, I know. It's always me. I have to go. I feel like I did grade school. I feel like, but anyways, all right, so when's our next flight? Well, let's have it Wednesday?
Yes.
It's a short week. It's Wednesday at 4, and I'll
call you this evening, and so we can get up a thumbnail and get a good subject to talk about and let people know.
And I apologize, guys, but I'll take full responsibility of that. And it just goes to show you what a woman can. Not even a woman. I mean, I don't know. But anyways, I apologize, and I should know better. So, crucify me. All right, thank you, everybody. Red, you're the best, the greatest, and I'll talk to you tonight. To meet you again. Thank you.
Combination of the videotapes and Wemette's testimony resulted in the conviction of 2 men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.